Thank you now for the brief introduction you gave to the extension system. It acts as a good segue for me to talk about the role of evaluation specialists in the US extension system that now just explained. So I'll also present a brief detail about my career path. So there will be an idea for anyone coming, wanting to come from India to pursue education here. And also they can see how I landed in the evaluation specialist role. I have a bachelor's degree in agriculture from Acharya Enjiranga Agriculture University in Andhra Pradesh state of India. And I did a master's degree there in the same university in agricultural extension education. And after that, I went to Iowa State University to get my PhD degree in agricultural extension education. And as now said, that's where we met as students under the same major professor. And we have been collaborating since then. After graduating with a PhD degree, I did a couple of postdocs at Iowa State University and also University of Connecticut. In these two positions, I was helping the extension leadership and also the economic development leadership, the extension director and the vice president for economic development, to help them come up with their monitoring and evaluation metrics, and also write the evaluation plans for the grant proposals. After working in those two postdoc positions for about 3 years, I accepted a position at University of Wisconsin-Madison as an evaluation specialist. I had an academic staff position there. I'll explain what the different types of roles are when we get to that part of the presentation. But I was there for 3 years, basically serving as an evaluation specialist, carrying out the evaluation for several projects, including all the program areas that now covered in extension, agriculture, natural resources, youth development, community development, everything. So the point I want to make here is that an evaluation specialist is not an expert in any particular production ag or any subject matter as such that the project relates to, but he or she is the expert in the social science design that is encompassed in program evaluation. I'll explain what all are included in program evaluation. And after 3 years of a stint at UW-Madison, I accepted this faculty position 4 years ago. Again, the working title is evaluation specialist. My position is, like I just got to the associate professor rank this month. So I serve in the community and regional development program in the Department of Human Ecology. And my role is different here. I teach evaluation. I don't carry out evaluation as such. My students do it if the partners have sufficient money to pay for carrying out the evaluation. So that will become more clear when I give some examples. So this is overall my career path so far. So who are these evaluation specialists in the extension system? So we are basically extension specialists, as now said. Extension specialists have expertise area in various topics like community economic development or economics or agronomy or livestock. And program evaluation is one of such expertise areas. So the production ag related, agriculture related extension specialists are all like biology, life science experts, whereas a program evaluation expert, a specialist is a social scientist. So the evaluation specialist is mostly from a social science background. There are evaluation specialists who have like a master's and PhD degrees in statistics. So evaluation covers like many things. So evaluation specialists typically have faculty appointments in academic departments, such as mine right now. I have a 40% research appointment, 40% teaching appointment, and then 20% for university, and also the professional academic discipline service, which includes serving on such committees and also presenting at international meetings, conferences, and those kind of things. So the evaluation specialists are also hired as academic staff in extension and research departments, such as the one that I was working at University of Wisconsin before I came here. And also they are a part of central governance units where they're mostly taking care of the annual reporting, now was presenting, collecting the outputs, outcomes to report to the funder of the United States Department of Agriculture. So they are part of the senior leadership team. So what do these evaluation specialists do? The evaluation specialists we work with the county extension educators. They are called as agents in some states. They're called as educators in some states. And we call them advisors in California system because they have a research component also. And most of our county extension advisors have PhD degrees, whereas the requirement is a master's degree, but our system has mostly PhD degree holders. And what do I do when I work with these people? I provide the research base of how they should design their evaluations. So as I said, evaluation, when I talk about evaluation or when I mention the term evaluation to any student I meet at an international conference, they really don't wrap their heads around what it means. What does evaluation cover? So overall, this is what evaluation covers. A sound knowledge in program extension, program development and theories, program designs, what teaching learning processes should be used, needs assessment, data collection and analysis, report writing, presenting findings to various types of stakeholders. They can be like the people who are paying us to carry out the evaluation, or they can be political leaders who will fund the future programs, or they can be colleagues of students in the extension education field or program evaluation field. And we also publish in peer-reviewed journals and also non-peer-reviewed extension publications. So before going into specific examples of each role that an evaluation specialist serves, it is important to see why should we evaluate the programs in the first place. So these are some of the reasons that I came up with based on my experience. So the number one reason is accountability. As Now was telling, we get money from United States Department of Agriculture. So they want to know like how we are spending that money. Is it worthwhile to fund us with so much of money? So the extension educators have to evaluate their programs, and we have to submit annual reports to USDA to see what they are giving the money for is making an impact in the lives of the people that we serve through our education programs and our research-based extension. So the second reason why we should evaluate programs is program development. It helps in program development. Like it's common extension literature that needs assessment is the first step in program planning. So needs assessment is a part of evaluation. It falls in the umbrella of evaluation. So the other reason why we should evaluate our programs is to improve our programs. Like we are offering the programs, and then it is important to know whether or not we are meeting the target so that any changes can be made as needed. So that's a very important reason, and we call it as formative evaluation. And then the next one is to measure the outcomes. When we are offering the programs, every educator goes with a science base, and then there are some expected outcomes that have to happen. Like, or do they want to increase the knowledge of the people, or do they want people to adopt some behavior? That has to be measured. So those are called outcomes. For example, like when I started this talk today, I said that one of the outcomes we are hoping will happen is that you all will gain a basic understanding of what the extension system is and what do evaluators do in the system. So that outcome, how will we know if that happened? We have to ask you people like whether the lecture was good or not, right? So the same way, we go back to the clientele who we are serving, and then ask them like through different data collection methods. Like it can be interviews, it can be surveys, it can be field observation, anything. Like there are a lot of different methods. And then the other reason is impact assessment. So impact is the big picture thing, which can't happen in 1 or 2 years. So a program has to be running for multiple years, like 5 to 10 years, in order to get to impact. When we talk about impact, what we mean is the big picture societal or environmental type of changes that are happening for the general public as a whole, not necessarily only to the clientele that we are serving. And then all the more important reason, another reason is self-learning, right? It's always good to know what we are doing, if it's working or not. And also the self-learning keep us motivated to do better. And then the final reason that I think is very important is contribution to research. So if we evaluate programs, we have good amount of data to conduct research and publish, and that will strengthen the education programs in the future. So these are some of the competencies that will be needed if someone wants to get into the role of an evaluation specialist in the extension system here in the United States, and also anywhere in the world if you want to pursue a career in evaluation. So we should have a good competency level in program theories, like program development theories. We have so many in extension. And then all the latest evaluation models, we need to be well versed with those. Then strong social science research background, including methodology, survey development, data analysis and interpretation. Again, the data analysis can be quantitative data or it can be qualitative data. So some evaluation specialists are focused only on qualitative data. Some evaluation specialists are focused on only quantitative data, and some use both the methods. So I am a mixed methods researcher. I conduct both qualitative methods and quantitative methods, and I also teach both quantitative data analysis and qualitative data analysis. And if a person is predominantly quantitative evaluator, then a strong background in statistics will be really helpful. Then project management skills are really important, especially if you want to be an evaluation practitioner and not a faculty member. If you want to carry out evaluations, project management is really important. Then data visualization skills are necessary because some of our stakeholders are really busy people, big politicians. They don't have time to read big reports. So one-pagers, infographics, really cool visuals that catches their attention will be really important skill. And I don't have that skill set to the extent that makes it like a really good quality visual. So I rely on my students who are like really super smart. So they help me with the data visualization. And then interpersonal effectiveness, like easily approachable, willing to accept your mistakes, that kind of interpersonal effectiveness. And then political maneuvering is important, especially if you are working with politicians to attract funding. And then communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal, are important in any field, not necessarily in evaluation. So I'll present examples from my work on the different roles evaluation specialists can serve in the extension system. The number one role is annual reporting. Now already spoke something about it. And then related to annual reporting is writing program impact statements catered towards different stakeholders. And then evaluation capacity building / extension teaching. Then conducting research. Evaluators can be researchers, predominantly researchers also. And then practitioners. Evaluation practitioners are the people who are carrying out evaluations. They are not necessarily teaching evaluation. So I'll provide examples for each of these roles. So there is some context to what I'm talking. So roles 1 and 2 is annual reporting and impact statements, writing impact statements, which are closely related. So as I said, we collect outputs. Outputs mean the products, what are being developed, how many people are being reached, how many products are coming out, like brochures or pamphlets or anything like that. And then what outcomes we are achieving, like has there been a change in knowledge, or has there been a change in skill sets, or people adopting what we are teaching? Those kind of things are outcomes. So all of that data has to be collected through a reporting system. As now said, he created one for University of Idaho because he's also the state leader for evaluation reporting there. But I don't do that part. My part is a professor type of job within the department where I basically teach evaluation and conduct research on evaluation. And then I have colleagues in the program planning and evaluation office, the central government. They are part of senior leadership. They take care of this. So now now has like multiple hats. He also teaches evaluation, conducts research, and also he is the in charge for reporting. So he has a bigger portfolio compared to me. So this is one example of an impact statement, how we write. So this is from one of my colleagues. The person is a nutrition, family, and consumer sciences extension educator. As I said, we call them advisors here. So here, we write it up as a paragraph, but I've broken down that one into different segments so you see what kind of data is needed. So the first one is activity. So what are they doing, right? Conducting nutrition education classes using Eating Smart, Being Active curriculum, and through other workshops. So then what did they do? They measured behavior change. So they collected through surveys that out of the 650 people that attended their class, 600 people, like 93%, reported an improvement in one or more of the diet quality indicators. So they self-reported that. So we are not assuming, we are collecting data. And then what is the big picture that's happening? As a result of eating healthy, there is sufficient research which shows that if you eat healthy food, there is reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, and that is like an established fact. So then we can steadily claim that our program is contributing to the overall public health. So we are never going to say that extension is the only resource or only channel that is causing the change, but we just take our part of the claim that we are also contributing. So that has to be very clear. And what is the big picture that's happening in the state of California is our program is contributing to improved health for all the people. So again, we are not taking any major merit or claim. We are just saying that we are also contributing. So this is another example. I'm not going to read this. I just give you like a few seconds to just go through this. So this is how we write impact statements. So this is another example from my horticulture extension agent. And she worked on a root stock trial. So you can read it. I'll just give you like 10, 15 seconds. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. So the third role, as I said, is evaluation teaching, the capacity building. Why do we call it as capacity building? Because my students are my colleagues, the extension educators, who are equally qualified in terms of educational attainment. They have a master's degree or they have a PhD. So I offer training programs for them. So these are the topics that I cover here in California, and most of the states have very similar topics that they teach, but there are some adaptations that need to be made based on the needs in each state. So I teach planning and designing evaluations. I teach needs assessments, how to conduct needs assessments. And then we teach the third one. I do not lead it, my colleagues do it. So defining what our clientele are. And then I teach methods for measuring outcomes, survey design and development, sampling methods, data analysis, both quantitative and qualitative. I teach it up to the intermediate level. So I'm not like an advanced statistics guy, but I can teach up to intermediate level. And then writing impact statements. So I showed you a couple of examples of impact statements. So continuing with the evaluation capacity building, we also do it through regional level collaboration. We have a team called as Western Regional Extension Evaluation Network. Idaho is also a part of that. California is also a part of that. So we are developing training videos that all the states in the Western region can use based on whatever their need is. Then we are also now, and I are also a part of national level research that is working to identify evaluation competencies that are needed by our county extension colleagues in order to evaluate the programs. So it is a multi-state effort. And then I offer guest lectures to our undergraduate and graduate students in many different departments in the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and also in sociology department. I have offered in nutrition department and sociology department. I offer guest lectures on evaluation planning and designs. So these are some of the pictures of my programs. So the first two pictures are at two different locations when I was teaching data analysis. And the picture below is I was teaching about outcomes, outcome indicators, inputs, outputs, that kind of a training. And then coming to the other role that evaluation specialists serve is conducting research. I'll share what my research is. So my research is mainly focused on innovative evaluation methods and individual evaluation studies. Like we carry out evaluation studies and then we publish from that. So if you can see the first paper here, which was published last year with my co-authors from Wisconsin, So this happened in my previous job. So we came up with an innovative method called group mapping to collect data from little kids. So this mapping exercise was both a fun activity for them to draw what they are learning, and also like a data collection method for us. And the one on the right, again, this was for kids here in California. We developed a method called as PISA surveys. We collaborated with researchers, like both these people like Maggie and Waiting are my county colleagues. Waiting has since moved to Stanford University, but she was at University of California when we conducted this research. So if anyone is interested in reading all of these papers, they're available in my website, webpage, and also if you can reach out to me, I'll share the full papers. And then these are from the evaluation studies. The one on left is we published our evaluation design from a climate change project that was led by Purdue University. And on the right is a last year project, like wildfires and other disasters are very common in California. So we conducted a needs assessment to know to what extent our extension, county extension people are prepared and what do they need to tackle wildfires and other types of disasters. So there also you can see that I was the first author, meaning that I led the study. It's not necessarily about an evaluation, but it's about a needs assessment. So an evaluator can be covering several different areas. That's what I'm trying to highlight. And another one where I published is related to statistics, methods, and individual projects. So this is a book chapter that I contributed to. It was predominantly quantitative data because I was able to write it because I've taken statistics courses in the PhD program. And then the next two are from the individual evaluation studies. These were at Wisconsin. These two co-presenters joined our team as our students. So they were our students and now they became our colleagues. They're both are evaluation specialists now. So these are from two different projects. So, and we are sharing this at American Evaluation Association conference. So that's an international conference. And then the final role is evaluation practice. As I said, we are hired as evaluation specialists to carry out evaluation. There we don't do any teaching and we are not required to do research, but we can if we want to. So these are some projects that I worked as an evaluation practitioner, and all of these were at Wisconsin. Right now, I don't serve as a practitioner. If there is sufficient money to pay for my students, they carry out for me, and I hire students for each project. So the first one example is a climate change project led by Purdue. The second one was for natural resource and conservation surveys, where they developed a wetland identification tool, and we evaluated the project. And then the other one was for Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And the last two are healthy soils courses were developed and we evaluated those courses. And then phosphorus compliance workshops. I selected those two examples because we have a predominantly agriculture audience. So there are many other projects that I've evaluated, like environmental justice, racism, so many other projects. And as I said, I don't need as an evaluation specialist to be the subject matter that the project is tackling. I need to be good at the social science and evaluation related expertise. And whatever context is needed about the topic, the subject matter, I can sit with the PIs, the principal investigators, and learn to the extent that I need. So they are not hiring me for my specific subject matter expertise in climate change or wetlands. They are hiring me for my evaluation expertise. So this is what we wanted to cover today. So this is